Juniper is found in gin and drinks made with gin. The one ingredient that all gins have in common is juniper. Now, it's a signature botanical, and it is an evergreen. And since it's a primary ingredient that defines gin to flavor the spirit, there are some gin companies that will use other botanicals to make their gin a little more complex. But all of gin has juniper as the common ingredient. And I want to thank the website Spirit of York for that information. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne. I'm a traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people. Natural remedies have been around for hundreds, even thousands of years, and they work on humans. So most of the time, if you use herbs as recommended, you're going to be perfectly safe. But some herbs do come with some caution because of the activity that they inspire. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that you like this video. Give me a thumbs up and share it. Maybe subscribe. And if you click on the little notification bell, you'll be notified each time that I present, which is about once a week. And in 2021, I've been focusing every Tuesday on a single herb. So there will be a plethora of single herb videos that you can go through. We've talked about garlic and ginger and many different herbs that have culinary purposes as well as medicinal purposes. Some of them you may be aware of, and some of them may be totally new to you. So most people don't think of juniper as a culinary herb. They, let me get my slide to move. There we go. It's pretty. They may have it growing in their yard. And they may even know that the berries are used for gin. So hopefully this will help you become a little more adventurous in using the berries. Now you only want to use the ripe berries. So let's go back to this. And these are ripe, these are riper. My bush does not make these dark berries. It only makes these. But once they become that kind of a bluish green, they are ready, they're ripe. So this is a drink called, and I'll probably kill the word, Schmecka. Schmecka is made with junipers and you ferment it. So it's a very healthy type drink. It comes from us from Bosnia. You can see what they used was like a food sprouting screen. I use it's called a pickle pipe. And this has a little hole in the nipple part of it that lets air escape, because as you ferment something, the gases have to escape. And if you use a solid cover, then you'll have to do what they call burp the lid every morning. And every morning you want to stir the berries. Now, most ferments either have salt or sugar in it. Apparently, this particular ferment derives the sugar needed in the drink from the berries. And because there's only two ingredients, purified water and a half a cup of juniper berries that have been washed. And you can cover it with a coffee filter and a screw band. I've used a rubber band and a coffee filter. And every morning, so you have it by your coffee pot or whatever your morning routine would be, and you take a wooden stir and stir the contents. Now, when you start out, the berries will float, and then eventually they start falling to the bottom of the drink. And it takes about a month. You can take a clean spoon and try it and taste it and see if it's to your liking. Now, the more you cover it, the more carbonated it will become. So maybe it can be, considered a poor man's gin. But anyway, it really is non-alcoholic because you're not working with the alcohol, but it sort of becomes like vinegar, like an apple cider vinegar. So it has that tart taste to it. And some people add honey to the finished product, and a little lemon. But um, I'm going to be trying this. I think it sounds like a fun thing to try. So the benefits of juniper is um, it's been used for digestive problems, including upset stomach, intestinal gas such as flatulence, heartburn, bloating, loss of appetite, as well as gastrointestinal infections and intestinal worms. So it would be a good drink to do in the springtime, especially if your household includes pets. So, using some kind of a product that helps to kill off worms or some kind of parasite is a good idea to do in the spring if you have pets in your household. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about black walnut and the benefits of that and killing off parasites. And black walnut can be used for children. So be sure to watch that video when you're done with this one. So, but the most thing I've used juniper for are urinary tract infections or UTIs, kidney and bladder stones. I've used it to as a great diuretic. Um, Juniper berries are very beneficial for men for benign prostate hypertrophy, also referred to as enlarged prostate. And it's, very anti-inflammatory. And that's one thing when enlarged prostate is because of inflammation. Sometimes it's parasitical, sometimes it's um, an infection of some sort. So juniper is a woodsy kind. Some people say it has a lemony, piney flavor to it. I made a glycerate of it, and I have a video on making glycerates, and I'll link that in the description below. But we noticed that my husband was having some swelling only on the left side. In fact, his left ankle was twice the size of his right ankle. And we were getting a little concerned about it. And I read up on juniper, and I went out to my bush and I got the berries and I made a glycerate for him. And he took it twice a day. And we said, if we don't see any decrease in the swelling, then we need to get medical attention for you. And the very next day, we noticed that the skin wasn't as shiny, which was one indication of edema. And then eventually, within a week, it was back to normal, the same size as his other ankle. So we were really pleased. And he had kidney stones, I want to say 25, 30 years ago. he had kidney stones, and it was very painful. So we do everything we know to do to protect his kidneys. And so maybe twice, 3 times a week, he will add that glycerin to a combination of liquid herbs that he takes in the morning. And years ago, when I was in my 40s, I was plagued with bladder infections. And this was before I knew about herbs and the benefit of herbs. Um, so I, of course, went to the medical doctor and they gave me medication, which was a sulfur drug. And it did help, but it didn't fix the problem. The cause was still there. I had an irritated bladder that would not empty properly. And so it wasn't very efficient. And I used a product that is called JPX, and it's juniper and a bunch of other herbs like parsley and uva ursi, ginger, marshmallow, golden seal. So these all had the qualities of anti-inflammation, anti infection, and so and antiseptic. So I went on a regime of taking that, and I've not been bothered with a bladder infection since. And that's 35 years ago. So these herbs are traditionally used by herbalists to calm the urinary tract and decrease inflammation and support the health of the bladder. So I was very glad to find out about JPX and get rid of that cycle I would go through of getting horrible bladder infections that caused me a great deal of pain. So juniper berries are commonly recommended for arthritis, colic, cystitis, flatulence, gout, kidney inflammation, kidney stones, poor digestion, rheumatism, sinusitis, ulcers, and water retention. It is strongly antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and pain relieving. So you would wonder, because in the world of drugs that we live in, there you take this drug for this problem, and you take this drug for that problem, and you end up, you've got 15 medications sitting on your shelf. Well, what is wonderful about herbs is they have a plethora of actions. And when you have something that is antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and pain relieving, it can help situations that you would think would be totally unrelated. So that's why I love herbs. And I love them in combination because they can modulate and take care of so many other situations that might be because of a singular concern. Whereas if you went to a doctor about it, there would be, the allergy doctor, there would be the urinary specialist, there'd be a colon specialist, and they'd all be recommending different tests and different medications. Not to say anything against medicine, because it can be a life saver. But once your life is saved, get to the cause and help your body heal so you don't get these warning signals that the body likes to give us that there's something wrong. Now, one of the ways our body gets rid of toxins is through the lymphatic system. Every one of these is a nodule where the lymph will come into and it gets worked on. Lymph is a clear liquid until it's congested, like mucus. Oftentimes, when you got the beginning of a cold, you get this liquidy, burning, acidy mucus that is trying to kill off the infection. And then that mucus will gather different tissues that are infected and it becomes thicker and sometimes discolored. And your instinct is to blow your nose, which is basically everybody, when they get up in the morning, should clear away what's gathered during the night. So you want to make sure you're clearing away, getting rid of that hardened or collected mucus so the body is healthier. Some people will use a neti pot to clear out their sinuses, but other people can just blow their nose first thing in the morning. Maybe they'll sneeze. Maybe, you'll find it itching or something. So the nasal passages collect mucus. It goes down on either side of the neck here. This is the lymphatic system. And there's a really short video that I'll attach to the description below where you can see how the lymphatic system works, how it collects, what organs are involved in the processing of the mucus. But it dumps out, the lymphatic dumps into the urinary system. So they work together. And you can make up your own glycerate like this, or you can get something called lymphatic drainage, which helps to drain the lymph. So if you notice that you're congested, if you have soreness and you're around where these lymph nodes are, you're congested, you should move that lymph and make sure it's clear. And it's important not only for movement, deep breathing, but water. The lymphatic system has no pump. You have to breathe. Look at all of the lymph area that is involved in this, but it doesn't happen down here. So walking is really necessary to move the lymph, moving your arms to try and get the lymphatic system cleared away. So researchers have documented some fascinating studies with juniper berry and colon cancer. I'll also leave that link in the description for the PubMed article on that. Some natural doctors believe that tumors are an accumulation of lymph congestion, and the body was concerned that these toxins would kill you. So it created this congested collection of infection. So it encapsulated these toxins and formed cysts or tumors. So it depends on the type. Oftentimes heavy metals are involved in it, but doing a cleanse with juniper berries and lymphatic is really a good thing to do in the springtime. And of course, eating healthy, drinking lots of good water is optimum for good health. So taking capsules is the easiest way to get herbs down that some may feel are not good tasting. Other people love the taste of it, some people don't. So taking capsules, great. But since it is, I want to go back to this for a minute, since it is used for so many conditions of inflammation like arthritis, it is really good to wet a cloth, a clean cloth like a washcloth, with warm water, sprinkle some of the herbs on it, and use it as a poultice. And place that warm, wet cloth with the herbs on it on your knees or on your hands to help relieve topically some of that inflammation that's going on. Now, there's a website that I'll link to that uses juniper berries in food. And these were just 3. I think there are 16 recipes in this link. This is rhubarb and juniper jam. Now, rhubarb is a springtime herb that's a perennial that keeps growing, and people love to make jam out of it. Most of the time, it's made with strawberries. Strawberries come a little later in the season, so most of the time you have to use frozen strawberries. But wouldn't it be interesting to use it with juniper and actually be helping your body deal with things like gout and arthritis? This is juniper and lemon iced cake. I think that sounds fabulous. And this is a pork chop. And in this recipe, they use juniper berries like capers. If you are interested in getting the juniper and capsule, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get a 25% discount on either JPX or Juniper. And if those are situations that you feel like those would be helpful for. So it is really a lovely herb. There are some cautions with it. Juniper berries are not recommended for women prone to heavy menstrual bleeding or pregnant women. It is also because of uterine contractions. And if somebody has like a kidney disease or is on dialysis, they really shouldn't be doing juniper. Well, they probably shouldn't be doing gin either. So yeah, I'll leave a link for the 16 recipes for using juniper berries. And I hope that you found this presentation valuable on both the culinary and medicinal uses of juniper, that perhaps I've imparted some information that you didn't know about juniper and that you might find it helpful for either you or a friend or a family member, somebody you care about, and that you'll pass or share this video information, that you will like it, comment. If you have specific situations that you need help with and you'd like to email me, you can at drmary@bornforhealth.com. I love hearing from you. So if you either email or comment, I would love it very much. Hearing from you. I heard from somebody the other day how one of my videos helped her in a way that she never imagined. She has a neurologically affected son, and he also has skin problems. And a video I shared with her really helped her. So it's a blessing to be able to help someone. And I know that both my husband and I are very grateful for this herb. And we're really pleased that now we have it on our property and can enjoy smelling it and thanking it occasionally for knowing it and using it. So get control of your health by focusing on herbs. You know, it's okay to use herbs as a first choice. I think that when people are comfortable using herbs or asking somebody about herbs, it is much safer than if you are always medicating first. So we see how often we can use these herbs for a plethora of concerns and how beneficial they can be. So be sure to share these videos with your loved ones. Be thankful for people and the gifts of nature, the flowers that are exploding all around us during the springtime season. And thank you for viewing. And I hope that this information was valuable for you. Until next time, this is Dr. Mary for the Health of It.